This is a video review of the menu functions on a BenQ MW519 firmware version 1.0. I'm going to press the source button to get to a different background, just that's not quite as bright on our video, and that should allow us to get in and see some of the menu options a little more clearly. As you can see, when you hit the source button in the upper left corner, it gives you your choices. I'm going to go down to HDMI where we've got our Xbox 360 hooked up. Notice in the upper left corner it tells you what's going on as far as which item was chosen and what resolution it's running at, and lets you know that the best resolution is 1280 by 800. Selecting the menu by default shows the menu in the center of the screen, and I'm going to zoom in here so that we can try and read through some of these options. This is being recorded on a Canon T4i, if that's of interest to you. The first menu choice takes up the display menu options. I'm going to page through these real quick so you can just see what high-level options there are. There is the display settings. Then you go to the right one for picture. Go through source. You've got the system setup basic menu, the system setup advanced, and the information menu. And as you can see on this, this is, again, like I said, running firmware version 1.0. Purchased in December of 2012. If we step through the display menu, you have your wall color options. You got your light yellow, pink, blue, blackboard, and off settings there. If we go down to the aspect ratio, you've got the auto, real, 4:3, 16:9, 16:10, and auto settings. I've generally had pretty good luck leaving it in auto. Keystone is a digital keystone. It's not optical. As you'd expect, you page down or down arrow to see the -8, and you can't really see it change in the resolution here, but it gives you the idea. The menu, let's see, what do I have to hit to get the back? I assume the menu button. That takes me back. The other settings, the position, phase, and horizontal size are disabled. I haven't seen those enable there. The digital zoom shows a menu down in the lower right portion of the screen here, it looks like, where you can zoom in on the particular image, and up arrow zooms in, and I'm getting closer on the image. You can't really see that very well here. Sorry for the focus. So we're going to bring it back. But that's letting you do digital zoom. For most home theater users, I don't think you'd ever use that. I'm going to go back down. It looks like it goes between 1x and back to 1.0. Let's see, so if I hit my menu button to get out of there, back on our main menu, there is a 3D setting here. When you select 3D, there's a mode that shows up. You can enter that. If we go into there, we've got the auto, top, bottom, frame sequential, frame pack, side by side, and off. I'm going to hit the menu button to go back. Generally, I've had pretty good luck leaving it in auto, at least on the PS3. It was detecting frame packed and doing that. We have sync inversion for disable and invert. I believe that's your left eye, right eye settings, but I'm not completely sure. Don't recall some of those settings. I have had issues on this system, and I'll actually be returning it shortly, when using the PS3 for 3D settings. When it did go into the frame packed, I was having issues with the system not allowing the remote to continue operating. I don't know if that's just on my unit or if it's something in the firmware, but that's just an observation. But when it was playing, or when it does kick in the first time, it works fine, and the keyboard on the projector itself works fine. Teaching templates, haven't used those, so I'm not familiar with what those offer. Let's see, so now how do I get up to that main menu again? Hit menu button to get up to the top tabs again. In the picture settings here, we have options of cinema, user 1, user 2, dynamic, presentation, RGB, and going back to cinema. Now for this next setting, I'm going to go ahead and set it into one of the user modes, because I believe that opens up some of the options down below. Maybe it's not. I was trying to figure out how to set the color, tint, and sharpness. I thought I had those settings going the other day, but not sure exactly where that is. From the reference mode, dynamic, presentation, RGB, cinema, I think these must be the starting place when you go into that user mode up above. Let's go back to the user and go, if I go into cinema, yeah, the reference mode disabled, so going into the user 1 enabled a setting. You got your standard brightness. One thing I have noticed is that it's not the fastest at moving these things, although this isn't doing too bad right now. If you press and hold on it, when I was trying to set up the, yeah, see there, if I go past the contrast, it's hopping past the color and sharpness. Then we've got our brilliant color on and off. I haven't noticed any big differences on that, but I think the guys on Projector Central suggested leaving it on, actually. Others have turned it off. And actually, let's turn it off and see. That didn't give us the color and sharpness there either. It did brighten up the picture though, didn't it? Color temperature, normal, warm, cool. Fine tuning, if I hit enter there, oh, here we've got the red, green, blue gains. And those are, yes, those are selectable here, so that's probably where we do most of the tuning. Hit the menu button there, 3D color management, hue, saturation, and grain, primary color RG and B. If I, oh, magenta, okay. So it's got a collection of settings in there. And then you got your reset to go back to the normal settings. Coming into the source, you got auto search off and on. I'm not sure why that's off. I've only got HDMI hooked up here. Color space conversion. Ooh, that did some good stuff to us. So I haven't messed with that at all. Not sure what its function is. Going back into the system setup, presentation timers, languages, projector installation, front. Oh, this could get me into trouble. But obviously you can flip it around depending upon where you've placed your projector. Menu settings let you choose how long it displays and where you want it, whether you want it in the center or in the various portions of the screen. You can bounce it around there. Reminder messages, not sure what that is there. Operation settings, direct power, auto power off, quick cooling. I think that's a 90-second cool down to let you restart after 90 seconds. Blank timers, sleep timers, fan speeds. I've left it in normal, haven't had any issues. I think that might be something that you adjust based on your altitude. But the fan hasn't been any worse than any of the other projectors I've had. I've had a BenQ 600 or BenQ 600 in the past, and a HD 60, I believe, was the Optima that I had, and it's not noticeably worse than any of those. Key panel locks, background color, splash screen. I'm not going to go into those because it doesn't affect the operation of the projector. High altitude mode, I think that changes the fan speed since there's less density in the air at the high altitudes. You need to blow a little more air over it to keep it cool. Audio settings, you've got the mute and volume. It's a tiny little speaker, but it works in a pinch. When we took it to go visit Grandma and had to set it on her piano bench just to show her what was up. Lamp settings in there, we've got the lamp mode, Smart Eco and Normal and Economic. There's not a whole lot of difference. You can see it flicker a little bit as it goes through them. The lamp timer itself, and obviously here it's showing I've got 200 hours on that, on the lamp itself. Security settings, I'm not going to go into those, not real familiar with it, or baud rate, not sure why we need those. Test pattern, you can turn it on or off. Oops, I'll flip it back on. It shows a big grid on the screen. I flip that back to off. Standby settings and reset all settings. Once more, going back up to the top. The final one is just kind of system information as far as what resolution you're running, and so that you can have that kind of fun. That is the menu operation. I'm going to flip the lights on now, see if I can get you a shot of the remote itself prior to cutting off the video here. And what did I do? It went into some sort of a timer mode here. And no, that's not going to work worth a hoot, is it? Well, so I guess we'll have to cut this off the image, but you can look up the remote images online on the website. Thank you for watching our video.